In the section 6, we'll be talking about modern portfolio theory and the techniques for portfolio management. In this section, we'll go over different kind of stocks and we'll analyze how we can take all of these stocks in certain proportion to make a balanced portfolio which hedges for our risk and at the same time gives us a good return. So let's begin with modern portfolio theory and stock data intuition. So modern portfolio theory is a theory that was devised by Harry Markowitz. In his own words, a good portfolio is not just a list of good stocks and bonds. It's a balanced whole which provides the investor with protections and as at the same time opportunities with respect to a wide range of contingencies. It's based on this acronym TANS-TAFL, which means there's no such thing as a free lunch. So if you have some stock that gives you high returns, it will have a high risk as well. And a good portfolio is something that maintains a balance between the risk and the returns or has a healthy risk-return trade-off. Now MPT assumes that the investors are risk averse, that if two stocks give the same amount of return, they'll go with the one which has lesser risk. This thing being kept in mind, every portfolio should be balanced. Now let's talk a little bit more about other things like diversification. So we are not just seeing the risk and return of one stock, but we'll see the risk and return of the portfolio as a whole. Now, risk of a portfolio is not equal to the average or weighted average of the risk of individual stocks in the portfolio, whereas the return is the weighted average of individual stock returns. Then how the risk is defined? The risk is about how volatile the asset is. And if we have more than one stock in our portfolio, then we have to take into account how these stock movements correlate with each other. Because we are viewing the risk as a portfolio, and the portfolio as a whole, if it moves up and it has one stock has certain risk which is hedged by a risk in some other stock, then that is more balanced. But if upward movement in one stock and downward movement in another stock are like highly correlated, then it might cause certain kind of problems. So we need to maintain a balance between all the stocks that we have in our portfolio. The beauty of diversification is that even get lower risk than a stock with the lowest risk in our portfolio by optimizing the allocation. So this we'll see as we progress in the section. Now let's go into the code and see the data we'll be using for this section. So in order to get the stock data, we'll need to install this library called Quandl, and we will do so by using pip install Quandl. And also we'll need to go to quandl.com to generate your own API key, which you'll be later on using to get the stock data. We'll start off with importing pandas, numpy and matplotlib, as well as seaborn for the visualization. Then we'll import Quandl for getting the stock data. And from scipy.optimize, we'll import it as SCO. This we'll use to optimize the portfolio later on. So we'll use the style of 538 is a blog that has a lot of interesting data science stuff. So we'll use a sort of a style that they have devised for the visualization. And we'll initialize a random seed, any sort of splits or random initialization we are doing. Let's see here now. So we have the API key for Quandl, we have the stocks, and we fire this query that we need prices for the stocks, and the columns we need are date, ticker and adjusted close, and the dates between which we want the stock prices are 1st of Jan 2016 and 31st December 2017, and paginate as true will give us results in the form of pages. And we get this data. So right now we are looking at 3 different stocks, which is Apple, Amazon and Facebook, and we get this data. Now this data is not in pivoted form. You can see that Facebook has individual rows, then similarly Apple has individual rows and Amazon has individual rows. What we want to do is we want to take the date over here, Apple, Facebook and Amazon over here, and their corresponding adjusted close price, in one single row. So for doing that, we'll pivot on the column ticker and we'll set the index as date. So we'll make the date as the index itself for the data frame. After doing that, we'll assign the column names as the name of the three stocks. And we see that when we use table.head, that at each date level, we have Apple, Amazon and Facebook stock closing price now. So this data is of the form what we wanted. Now let's visualize these individual time series, because all three of them are time series, they are varying with time. In order to do that, we'll call from matplotlib, we'll initialize a figure with a fixed size of 14 cross 7. And for each of the stock, what we'll do is we'll plot the index, which is the date on the x-axis. We'll plot the value of the stock or the adjusted closing price on the y-axis. This is line width 3, and we'll also put in a legend. So we are using label equal to C. C here is the name of the stock or the column. So after doing that, we just put in the Y label and the legend, and we can see that we have all these three stocks here. Wherein Amazon has the highest sort of traded price in the market, and Amazon and Facebook are far below it. And this is how they are progressing across 2016 and 17. Now, in order to visualize this at a more micro level, what we'll do is we'll see the percentage change day over day in the stocks. And to do that on the data frame, we'll call PCT underscore change. PCT underscore change will go over each column and will determine what is the percentage change between one value to another value. And after doing that, we plot this. So we initialize another figure for each of the stock in the columns, which is Apple, Amazon, Facebook. We plot now instead of plotting the actual stock value, we'll be plotting the percentage change. And we see the graph looks something like this. And we can see here that Amazon is a bit more volatile, because we see these huge peaks where there are certain increases and there are certain decreases as well. Whereas, Apple is is also a bit volatile, but Facebook, I think, is the most stable of the three. And we can see this data frame also here, wherein we see that on first day there is no percentage change, then the percentage change starts to come in with 2%, 1.9%, and so on and so forth.